Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together, we do this every single day as Scott and I stop by every day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, to help you guys in that journey to head back to the window and cash those winning tickets. Scott, how'd your day go? I know it's Wimbledon for you. It's the first week of Wimbledon, which probably presents you with more opportunities, more line inefficiencies. So you killing it over there on the with the fuzzy balls?
Yeah, tennis so far, very good. I saw on yesterday's video. I'm trying to remember who asked for tennis plays. I think it was Bill.
I think so.
I split
I think you're right.
on those. I had Giron minus 1.5 games, which was my favorite play, and he won in straight sets, so that was nice. But as a whole, tennis was very good. Baseball, not so much yesterday. The Angels could not get a hit with runners in scoring position to save their lives. Anytime you can get plus money on a team total and they finish half a run short despite going 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, not a fun time. So finished a little bit short there. And to be honest, my farm pick yesterday was pretty awful. So baseball wasn't great, but tennis was very good.
Okay.
So I had a profitable day, but I'm sure most people would have rather me have had a good day in baseball.
Probably true. Probably true. We did okay. We scratched our Red Sox play because we didn't have the same pitcher as Waka went today. Instead, 2-1 on the premiums hit my play of the day, so I'm pretty happy. The premium play of the day, and of course we missed the farm. It's hard to cover the run line when your team doesn't score.
Yeah.
So that was no bueno there. So want to remind you guys that we are going to have a little Tour de France preview here a little bit later, so stick around for that. With my lovely and talented wife will be joining us. And Scott, a good time to remind everybody to like and subscribe. Make sure you punch that like button, hammer that sucker, take out your aggressions on the clicks. And when you save a couple hammers for our YouTube channels, make sure you get subscribed to the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel. Find great daily content, great daily picks from all your favorite handicappers like me and Scott, Mason Foles, Sean Miller, a lot of those guys. We put them out every day. We're grinding. We're over there grinding, Scott. We're putting out free plays, so make sure you check that out. If you want the live content, of course, you got to get over to the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel. I know you guys are there now watching our show. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. We appreciate the effort. Our bosses appreciate the effort, etc., etc. Great content, Max Wagers Network. We got started off with Sean Higgs, Midday Money at noon. 1 o'clock, Allie Burns bringing you Morning Wood. Me and Chris talking just parlays at 2. Scott and I, 3 o'clock, we go back to the window. And 4 o'clock, Sean Miller, soccer from around the world. And we finish it up at 5 p.m. each and every day with Detroit Lenny, Nick, and Tim Earl giving you the game time decision. We are joined today in the comments section by some of our grizzled veterans. James Mounts is here. Lex Steele, what up, baby? Fever Underkilled, yes, yep. Rye Cape, what's good? We are ripe. We are rye every day. We are good. Bill McDonald said thanks for the Giron pick. Very nice. That's very good. Scott, you said you hit that one, so that was good.
I hit that one. The other one I lost with, I had Kukushkin and Brooksby over 3.5 sets, and Brooksby kicked his ass. So that happens. But overall, first round of Wimbledon, very good for me. On top of that, I also have a couple of futures involving Djokovic and COVID. Apparently still a thing because 2 of the top, I'd say, 10, 15 players in the tournament tested positive for COVID, including the second betting favorite. So Djokovic should, keyword should, have himself a pretty easy path to potentially another Wimbledon title.
Very good. Very good indeed. Normally we just received word we normally do Total Chaos on Tuesday night, Scott. We're going to bump that to tomorrow, which I don't know if that's probably not going to fit for me. I think I'm going to be at a concert tomorrow, so
okay.
We'll see. I might be able to do the concert thing again. We'll see what happens.
From the car with the notepad?
Yeah.
Big.
I know, a big if true, right? Lex Steele wants to know, did Jannik Sinner out?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
I remember Sinner beat Wawrinka yesterday. I don't think he tested positive for COVID.
Okay.
Unless he was in close proximity to Berrettini, but I don't think he was.
Okay.
The only people that I know that actually tested positive for the only people that I know that tested positive for COVID were Berrettini, and you had Chilich, but I'm pretty sure that was it. So I think Sinner's fine.
James Mounson's Terry McLaurin signed for $71 million. Depending on what's guaranteed and what isn't. That's I know he's been waiting to get paid, getting his payday there. Where do you rank Terry McLaurin as far as a receiver, Scott? Top 10, top 5, top 15? Where do you put him?
It's very tricky because he was on my fantasy team last year and he did nothing.
Right.
But it's not his fault. The thing is, you got to wonder how many people are going to actually put up very good receiving numbers with less than optimal quarterback play.
Right.
There's not many out there, and you could argue, of course, even the great ones, like for example, a Tyreek Hill or somebody like this. You lose Mahomes, I'm assuming that's going to definitely kill at least part of your production.
Absolutely.
So McLaurin, very good player, but he has Carson Wentz throwing him the ball.
Good luck.
So if you want to pay the receiver a bunch of money, you can, but until you have a quarterback that can actually throw him the ball regularly, then I don't really know if he's worth the money.
Yep.
Do you think he is?
You got to pay him. You've got it. We've got a talent. You hopefully can hang on to him until you can get yourself a quarterback.
Especially with the toxic culture of, Dan Snyder and whatever. Yeah. You got to at least keep whatever talented players you have. But I'm acknowledging that receiver is not going to push them over the top because they still went cheap for quarterback. Or didn't go cheap. They just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe
a stopgap is what they're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is what they're doing there, sure, as well. So, want to talk about our great deal that we got going on with this fine folks over there at Caesar Sportsbook. Make sure you stop by and check that out. $1,500 risk-free first bet. Basically, all you have to do is put in the code Video Winners 15, Video Winners 15, and that will get you. That'll get you reimbursed in the form of $1,500 up to a $1,500 free bet. So take advantage of that. Caesars, of course, must be in your state. We have handily put a link to all the states where it exists. So check that out in today's description as well as that Video Winners 15 code. What else? Got to be 21 to play. And I don't know how long it's going to last, Scott. We thought it would be done June 1st. It's gone through June, so we'll see how that goes. I know they're having a lot of success with it, so we're still continuing to do that. So check that out, won't you? Hey, Scott, let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, shall we? It's the time where we have to reveal and share the pain. The winners, the whiners, the people that took it in the shorts. But maybe you're one of the people that took it to the bank. Maybe that was the one you wrote in on today. Whatever it was, let's find out just exactly what happened yesterday, Scott, as we kick it off with the Tuesday edition of Call the Cops. All right, very good. Hey, we're going to start off in the major leagues. Nerfy alert. If you have the Athletics Yankees, Nerfy, you looked really good. No runs in the top of the first. 2 outs. No runs. Bottom of the first. Rizzo. You can't stop him, Scott. You can only hope to contain him. And they didn't. He put his solo jack. 1-0 after 1 inning. Call the cops.
Yeah, when you get 5 or 6 outs and nobody's on base and you still lose, that's definitely a bad beat. But we're going to transition over to tennis, and if you had Davidovich-Fokina and Hurkacz under 3.5 sets,
who didn't?
Hurkacz, big favorite, actually got upset in that match. But Davidovich-Fokina had triple match point while serving in the 3rd set. He just needs to win 1 out of 3 points and you win. And he eventually ended up losing the next 5 points. He got broken, then he got broken again, and he lost the 3rd set. And then it ended up going 5. And to make matters worse, after Fokina screwed you, he still won the match. He couldn't even root against him because he ended up advancing anyway. But under 3.5 sets, and you have triple match point while serving, and you blow it, that's a pretty tough beat in tennis.
Yes, it really is. And finally, I don't know, if you were drinking, you said, I'm going to put money on the team total over for the Royals. Well, first of all, seek help, both for your drinking and your gambling. But, yay! You looked like you were in great shape last night. Royals scored 4 runs, first 2 innings. They're beating up on the Rangers. Fuck, you can't stop those guys. They got the Rangers bullpen coming. What, we're going to have 7, 8, 9 runs? No, 4. 4. That's what we ended up with. 4 in the first 2 innings, 4 total. Nothing over the last 7. I don't have much sympathy for you. You're playing the Royals team total over. But still, you got to call the cops.
And on top of that, the Royals lost the game, so they were batting in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah. They got their 9 at bats. Absolutely true. So There was some good news out there. Maybe this was the side you were on. Maybe you didn't spend your Monday night bitching and complaining. Maybe you just spent your Monday night kick back, relaxing in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Dodgers team total under 6.5 against the Rockies, they only had 3 hits. Chad Kuhl was
Cool.
as cool as the other side of the pillow.
There you go.
Yeah, the Dodgers finished with no runs.
Not good. Not good.
Not good.
If you had the Cardinals on the money line against the Marlins, pretty solid bet there against Pablo Lopez. Red hair, they don't care. 4-0 after 4 innings. They didn't stop. They kept scoring. They end up winning that one. 9-0. Sorry, Pablo Lopez. Not today, Satan. Once again, Cardinals win 9-0.
And the last one, if you ended up having the Orioles on the money line at around plus 135, I know that I recommended that on the show.
Yep.
And we thought that price was absurd.
Loved it.
And the Orioles looked really good again. They led 7-0 after 4. Kirby not very good last night, and the Orioles won 9-2.
Absolutely true. So, Scott, we had a rarity last night. We had something that I don't know that I've ever seen before, and we absolutely have to talk about it. We're going to find out who's strapping on the golden feed bag today, guys. It's Tuesday. Who is the donkey of the day? So, Scott, yesterday, as you're aware, the Oakland Athletics came to town, played the New York Yankees. Athletics had a lead, but then something happened that I don't think I've ever seen happen in my life in the 7th inning. Scott, what was it?
You had 2 separate catcher interference calls in the span of about 3 batters.
What are we doing here? What are we doing now? I didn't see them. Were they legit?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's just an idiot.
Like Murphy was either A, standing too close, or B, extended his glove too far. But I believe the order was catcher interference, hit by pitch, catcher interference, and then like 2-run double, and then the whole game exploded for Oakland. But I don't think I've ever seen in the span of 3 batters 2 separate legitimate catcher interference calls.
No, that's Sean Murphy, by the way, the Oakland Athletics catcher. We don't want to award Donkey of the Day and then not name him. So congratulations, Mr. Murphy. You're the Donkey of the Day. And oh my goodness, not any better news for these guys. Let's find out. You know, you can't be surprised, you can't be mad, but you can definitely be, disappointed. Scott, the St. Louis Cardinals, pretty good baseball team. Got a couple of outstanding players there. Nolan Arenado and, of course, Paul Goldschmidt having a fantastic year. Yadier Molina, even declining, but still a fantastic catcher. They got a little problem with their starting pitching. Namely, they don't have enough. So it was with great hope that they had Jack Flaherty finally come back from injury. And, Scott, how long did that last?
8 innings. He had 3 separate outings. I know he definitely had at least 1 start because he started the first game that against the Pirates. He didn't go long.
Right.
Did he technically have 3 starts, or was he a middle relief guy? But he never went more than 3 innings in an outing.
No.
So even if he was technically starting, he was an opener at best. And he's back on the IL. Hurt his shoulder again. He's pitched 8 innings since last October. I believe it was October 3rd was the last time he pitched last year. So when he's supposed to be your up-and-coming potential franchise starter for the next decade or so, and he's having arm problems, we're not mad, but we're disappointed because we've seen this happen before, and Flaherty's extremely talented.
Absolutely. All right, bud. Well, we like to talk about weird sports around here. Not weird, but, off the beaten path. We talk a lot about if you've got an angle, if you've got an advantage, I don't care what sport it is. I don't care if it's football, baseball, tennis, college bass fishing. Don't give a fuck. If you got an angle, if you can make money, we're all about it around here. So, Scott, in that vein, we're going to talk about the Tour de France today, and we're going to bring in. You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of
your wife.
This is my wife, and she reminds me.
I'm saying she reminds you of your wife.
She does remind me greatly of my wife, but the Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny. where you're like,
The defense is wrong.
yeah, exactly, without the accent. So let's talk a little to her. Her name is Traci. I know her and love her. Now you're all about to. Let's bring her in. There she is. What do you say?
Hello.
Yes.
Well, first I'd like to say I'm a little concerned for that donkey. Is he okay?
Yeah,
We don't know.
We don't try to ask too many questions about what they were doing to that donkey to make him make that noise. So,
Man.
I know the question that everybody wants to know is, do you consider yourself extremely lucky or like luckiest person in the world to be married to me?
Oh gosh, I run the gamut of luck
Plead the
with
fifth.
you. Yeah.
Plead the
Yeah.
fifth.
All right, so we're gonna do this and put you. There you go. All right, very good.
Ooh.
All right,
In
so
between two roses.
you are here to talk about the Tour de France and a little bit of background because you are not a bike rider. You're not one of these people that are every Friday night you're out there annoying the shit out of people wearing your little fucking bike thing.
no.
And no, you're not.
Picking up 3 lanes of traffic.
But
No.
Ride the bike. No.
by the way, people welcoming you to the show, Andrew Kalanje, James Mounts, you're gonna have a lot of people saying hello to you.
Hello.
So
I can't see the chat, so I'm just going to take your word for it.
Okay, all right, very good. So you're not a bike rider, but somehow you fell in love with the Tour de France, and how did that happen?
Well, I took years and years and years of French. I do not claim to speak it at this point, but I had to learn a lot of French history and a lot of useless French trivia in French. So I'm already kind of a Francophile, but total armchair. I really haven't kept up with it. But then I think you let's not say encouraged me to watch a documentary series or documentary. And I think it was called Slipstream, but I can't find it on Netflix. And it chronicled an American team, and it really made me fall in love with this bizarre, weird strategy of cycling where you can actually be one of the strangest superhumans on the planet with almost zero body fat, who's fed like better than any prize animal to get your win. And yet you can actually have done all of that and never win a thing. And that's actually your job, is not to win a thing. And I'm just a little too American for that. So
Right.
It really hooked me.
All
I
right.
mean, I was like, what? But then there's also like this course is magnificent. And every year they include extra countries. And it's like a combination of local flavor and travel log. Crazy things happen. I mean, and it just escalates. Like they start in these flat stages, but by the time you get to the mountains, like everybody's in weird costumes. There are naked people. There's Santa Claus. There's the devil. There's a fan that can totally derail the whole race, like they did a bit ago, where they jump out with a sign that says hi to their grandparents.
You can
never know.
You can have a Jeffrey Mayer at every race. That's the kid that interfered with the ball with the Yankees game. You can have that every stage, every day. There'll be some fuck person, some fuckwad that just jumps out, and there's no security. There's no sawhorses like you see at marathons in the States, and people are on the road. They sometimes, if they're lucky, they leave them about a lane and a half for these guys to go up the mountains. It's incredible. If you haven't watched it, you should at least check it out. I know it's on Peacock Plus, so check out the tour. It's very cool. And you and I have talked about this being our bucket list thing. We've kind of been thrown because they don't generally announce it. They started being better about announcing the route in advance, but it would make it very hard to plan vacation because they didn't tell you where it was going to be. And we're trying to put these things together. So that's probably would you say that's your number one bucket list trip?
Yes and no. I mean, when you really watch this thing and you think about, like, you get a lot of Switzerland because, hello, Alps. That is not a place I want to drive. I'm not really sure I even want to stand next to the course on what appears to be a straight sheer shot if I just take the wrong selfie. And I probably will because I'm old and I'm not great with a camera. So here we are.
They're not all about safety in Europe. They don't put up like barricades and shit. They're just like, well, if you fell over, fucking we've thinned the herd.
There are dogs on the track. There were tacks on the track that messed up Cavendish's bike one year. There was the fan. There are cyclists stopping to use the bathroom in camper vans of total strangers. I mean, this is bananas, and it is totally unpredictable. And so I'm going to say that like a million times, as I also tell you about these crazy favorites, because we're in a really unprecedented tour this year.
Right. I was going to say, and you say it's unpredictable, yet there is a prohibitive favorite this year. And let's just transition and talk a little bit about him, because usually this is like, if you guys bet NASCAR or anything like that, you usually see similar odds to NASCAR where you've got maybe you've got a 3-1, 4-1. That's going to be your favorite. We've got minus money on the, I'm not gonna try to say his name. So say his name and don't butcher it, so I won't butcher it.
Well, I'm probably going to butcher it. This is Slovenian. I'm going to wreck some Slovenian today. That's just how it's going to be, because I'm a Midwestern twang who studied French and listens to British announcers. I have no idea how to pronounce any of this correctly, but I for the whole month of July, sound like I have a mouthful of marbles, and that's just how it is. I'm okay with it. To get to our friend Traci Pogačar, which I don't know if that's right or not.
Sounded good to me.
We'll take it.
That's how Bob Roll says it, so I'm rolling with it.
Right.
Okay. So to explain who Traci Pogačar and how amazing this dude is, let's just talk about how this works. There are 176 riders starting to race this year on 22 teams. That's 8 riders a team. It's going to be 2,067 miles on a bike.
So that's about from what, Vegas to New York, right around there, maybe Denver to New York.
That's a you thing, babe.
Something in that neighborhood. So yeah, Reichel, you going to ride out to Denver? You take 3 weeks to ride to Denver?
Would I take the 3 weeks? No, I'd rather fly there. But that's just me, you know.
Yeah, right. No, it's sensible, right? And that is part of this craziness of the tour, is that these humans are truly superhumans. And for the whole history of this race, they've basically been a human physiology lab, right? They have soigneurs dedicated to feeding them just so. They've figured out that
that's your secret desire, is to be a soigneur, isn't it?
Yes.
And those are the people that a soigneur, by the way, is somebody that travels with them and cooks them the food, right? He keeps track of their diet, their nutrition, and all that.
You're also like a masseuse and kind of a sports medicine person, and I have zero interest in that. I just like to cook, and I want to go to France.
Fair enough.
But so all of this goes on, and there are distinctly different parts of this race. There's going to be the opening this year. The whole first week is basically classics. There are flats, there's cities, there's sprinters going crazy.
And where do they start? They're starting in a weird place this year. They're starting in Denmark, right?
Yeah, they're starting in Copenhagen. And actually, the race this year is going to be bookended by the time trials. But Copenhagen, I did not know this because I'm very bad at geography. Copenhagen has 1.4 million people a day riding bikes as their commute, as their vehicle.
Jeez.
That is more than commute to work on a bike in the entire United States. So this town is going to be a big party. It's going to be a blast. They're into it. I mean, other countries that get to do this, it's a huge tourism thing. They estimate 12 million spectators over the course of the race. 12 million people. So imagine if your name of your company's on somebody's jersey, and you get that kind of exposure.
Right.
So, It's super bananas. This year there are going to be 6 mountain stages, which is where they progress after they go through these classics through the cities, where you get to see lots of sights. There's cobblestones, which are always crazy. There's a lot of wrecks. The sprinters throw elbows. One year, a dude just reached out and just punched the guy next to him. He had it with his shit.
I remember that.
That happens. It just happens. So you don't know what's going to happen, but what you're ultimately trying to do as a team, you're trying to win stages, get jerseys, and make it to the podium in Paris at the end.
So there's four. There's how many? There's 4 jerseys, right? There's the overall, which is the yellow jersey everybody talks about. Then there's the white jersey, which is the young rider.
Wait. I've worn a visual aid, as I think you professionals call this. So we start with the not as interesting jersey, the white jersey.
Okay.
But, whatever jersey. It's the young rider jersey. It's where you want to be. There have been a lot of super successful riders that have won this for many years. Last 2 years, Traci Pogačar.
All right.
He was the best young rider, but we've had people like Egan Bernal, Simon Yates. They're very successful in the sport, but this dude is something special. So from there, from the white jersey, we moved to my favorite jersey. My whole thing about this.
I did not know there were going to be costume changes, by the way. I did know she bought the hat. So there's, okay.
So yeah.
And
So now we're moving
what is
to
the
polka dots.
polka dots or what?
It's not just that it's stylish, it's for King of the Mountains.
Okay.
And with 6 mountain stages this year, craziness. Now, the second best guy that we haven't talked about yet, also a name I'm going to butcher, that's Slovenian. This is Primoz Roglic. Now, he is very, very good. He has done many great things, but he wants this bad. He wants it so bad. And to boot, should have brought tea because there's always tea in the tour, and it always kind of flips my brim up. So they had a big showdown on the Super Les Belles Filles de Planche, one of the big mountains. I don't even know if I said all of that right, but it was like a seconds different, and it was the whole difference of Tadej Pogačar winning yet more jerseys, because not only was he best white jersey the last 2 years, he's been the best polka dots as well. Spoiler alert, he was also winning the Tour de France for 2 years. This is unprecedented. So after you go King of the Mountains, big deal. It's really cool. Then we move on to the green jersey. The green jersey is the sprinters. It's also known as the points. All right. So the points, these people, they will throw elbows. They will do the argy-bargy. They will do all kinds of things. And they usually have kind of fun personalities. Peter Sagan, he's my fave. He is aging. He's had COVID 3 times in the last year.
But he's young at heart.
He's young at heart.
But he's young at heart.
He is young at heart. He's crazy. He'll say anything. I hope he's a part of the sport as long as I live. I can't wait till he's a coach or an announcer. And if he drops out, please put a microphone on him, because he just says the funniest things. He's awesome. But at this point, he's in the race. At this point, he might win green. But there's always this secret hope that it's the one jersey that Tadej Pogačar hasn't won, and that maybe it will be the unprecedented sweep. Nobody's really talking about that seriously, but nobody really knows what to expect with the sprint, because Sagan's not the only one who's been plagued by injuries. And again, this is all a crapshoot, because somebody could fall down and go boom on the first day, take out half the peloton.
Well, we saw that happen to Chris Froome a few years ago when they started in England, like his home country. He finally gets to the big, and he crashes like coming down a straightaway, right? And he was out of the race.
Yeah.
I remember that.
You know, and and like the thing with the tax on the road, Cavendish couldn't come back from that. His tire went flat. He went down. He broke something or wounded himself, and that was that. So as much as I think Tadej Pogačar is the favorite for a reason and probably going to win all of this, then there's other dynamics, because the strategy of this is crazy, where you've got riders that are dedicated to making sure you win something. And so you've got 8 riders on a team. Ideally, you have contenders in at least a couple of the jerseys, and maybe you get on the podium with your whole team.
Could we equate it to like the teams are set up to help 1 or at most 2 guys win? So it's kind of like, if you're taking a first touchdown scored in football, you're not going to take an offensive lineman to score the first touchdown. And you're not going to take one of these, I don't know, what you would call them, outriders, or one of these support guys. There's literally 6 or 7 guys on each team that really have no shot of winning, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The domestiques.
Sure.
They even give them a name. They're like the maids.
Okay.
They're domestics.
Very good.
They are there to help you. They're the engines. They let you ride in a slipstream. So situations where there are crosswinds, which there are going to be some crazy ones in these first 3 stages. I did not know about Denmark, that there was going to be so much coastline, things going on there.
Okay.
I usually find time trials really boring, but I'm going to watch this one because I think the city's going to go crazy. And because we've got people, one of the guys that I think it's Vlasov, that takes corners at 57 miles an hour, and there's 18 corners.
Insanity.
It could be crazy as far as the time trial.
All right.
Trial goes.
I'm almost afraid to ask. Show us the yellow jersey.
Oh, okay. So we've gotten through the King of the Mountains,
right,
Young Rider, and we've gotten through the sprinters. And
I'm
now
almost
we're
afraid to
on
find out
the
where this is coming from. Oh, there it is.
big one.
All right.
Is the yellow jersey. Now, this is my only piece of Hermes attire, and I always break it out for the Tour de France because there's nothing more French than an Hermes scarf.
All right.
And it's also conveniently yellow, which is the jersey that everybody wants to know about. And frankly, if it isn't Tadej Pogačar, there's only the odds would bear out the theory that there are only a few real other contenders.
Let's talk about that. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I was going to say, since of course you said it could be a crapshoot, but this guy's won each of the last 2, and he seems like he's by far the best cyclist that's currently actually running in this.
Yeah.
So if you were betting this, is this like a Nadal French Open situation where even though there's a lot of people in the running, realistically you'd be shocked if anybody else won, or do you think there's actually value on some other players or other cyclists?
Well,
I should say?
so there's a couple of other players that Primoz Roglic has got to be burning to get this guy off the throne.
By the way, the odds for the top 3, we talked about this a lot. Pogačar minus 140 is what I've got him listed at. Vingegaard is plus 500 and Roglic is 550. And aren't Vingegaard and Roglic on the same team?
They are.
So you got to kind of almost pick one there, or take them as a.
I don't know. It's hard because everybody's mentioning both of them. Vingegaard hasn't been necessarily a factor before this season.
Yep.
But he's a co-captain with Roglic, so they know something about him, and that's the thing that you watch for are these trends, because they aren't going to put all their cards on the table. They aren't telling us what they want to win for a reason, because they may adjust on the fly. But all of a sudden, you can tell when the overviews and the different articles out there start to mention names. Vingegaard is on the radar this year.
So you mentioned something. Let me hang real. I'll let you go,
you
Scott.
go first.
You mentioned something weird to me the other day when we talked about, because there's 6 guys that are 40-1 or lower, and then everybody else is a crapshoot. And you said something about the 5 guys that weren't Pogačar. You said they're going to team up and try to beat him.
Oh, sure. It's Pogačar's to win, but it's Pogačar's to lose. And they are going to ride aggressively against him. And every day you're going to get to see a red number. That's going to be your most aggressive rider. Sometimes they give it, even though like good sportsmanship, if you've gone back to get somebody you still finish, there's all kinds of things. But you can start to see which team, if they're keeping that red number, they've got it out for them. And Ineos Grenadiers is a great team. They have some powerhouses. They've got Adam Yates, Danny Martinez, and Grant Thomas. Grant Thomas is a sleeper. He could be a good bet. He's 36. He's a big engine, but he's multi-talented enough, and he wants this so much. So, but Danny Martinez could get to the mountains and just smoke everybody. You just don't know.
Grant Thomas currently 25-1.
They will work together. They will do what they can, and they will likely team up with Jumbo-Visma, which is where Roglic and Vingegaard race. They also have one of the few American riders in the race on that team. I think it's McNulty. I wouldn't swear to that, but they do have an American on that team too, which is kind of fun. Now there's one super sleeper. Now Vlasov is somebody that's coming up. He's a longer shot. I would put a little money on him.
All right.
Especially if you can get something on a site, which I don't bet this enough to know if you can bet stages. This is definitely moving.
You can usually bet stages.
Yeah, it's a moving target kind of sport, so you're going to want to update your bets as you go. But this weird trend emerges every year where you start to read the overviews, and there's somebody that's mentioned, and they don't ever say why, but you see this name in every article. And the one this year is Wout van Aert. Okay. And he's a wildly good dark horse to bet on.
And by the way, Van Aert is favored in the first stage at minus 150.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a hell of a time trialist. And you know, sometimes you get through that time trial and you've sucked and it motivates you, but sometimes you do so well it just pushes you on. And he's being mentioned a lot.
So let's give picks. Do you get away from Pogačar, or do you play him at minus 140?
You got to play him.
Okay. All right, so give me a couple.
You gotta take a shot.
Give me some long shots for the overall, because everybody else is a long shot basically. You talked about Geraint Thomas at 25-1 and Vlasov at 28-1. Two good picks.
I mean, you could just take a couple of the 5-1s if you want, but the point is, we know that of course there's one prohibitive favorite. Would you bet on anybody else besides the favorite in this one? And if so, who would you pick?
The two I would also put money on are Van Aert and Thomas, because and I think Roglick's not a good enough value. But he is in certain stages.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those two guys on La Belle Planche de Fille, if I'm even saying that right, but that stage, it's going to be one of them because they're going to go at it.
Van Aert is 125 to 1, by the way. So,
yeah.
All right, let's talk about.
It's interesting.
All right, you got anything for? You want to go through all the separate disciplines real quick? King of the Mountains. Is it going to be Pogacar, or is it going to be Pinot or Bardet, or somebody else?
I think it's going to be Pogacar.
Okay.
He'll take mountains regardless. He'll take young rider regardless. I don't.
He wants those polka dots. Damn it.
Yep.
Yeah. I want him in polka dots too. I'll tell you.
All right.
I think to think of it would be amazing if anybody else took either of those from him. Now in sprint is up for grabs. In my heart, I want Sagan, if he's well, to do it one more time. I mean, he's insane. He won it in 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, and 19.
It's pretty good.
I mean, pretty good.
Bit of a trend.
And it would be great for him to keep winning a few before he's like probably going to retire. I don't know how long, because he's a monster.
Right.
But then my other secret hope is let's see a sweep. Let's see Pogacar win it all. If this is going to be boring and we're only going to be watching to see the wrecks and the fights and he just outdistances everybody, well then let's see him win it all, because that would be amazing.
Yeah, he's going to probably win Young Rider, and he's got a good shot in the mountains, and he's got a good shot for overall. So, and you can get, if you're looking around at different books, and always shop your lines, even more so in big wide open events like this, because they've got top 3 odds, they've got top 10 odds. So you can certainly take and get prices if you don't think they're going to win, but you think they're going to get on the podium. You can do that as well. So, all right, very good. Any final thoughts? It opens Friday, right?
It does with that time trial. You had asked me about doping in the sport. Do we have time?
Real quick, because I think
Floyd Landis in the running.
He's not on my sheet.
Absolutely, always.
Yeah, address that real quick, because I know everybody talks about it. Everybody kind of jokes about it a little bit. But what's going on? Have they been able to stop it? Is it over?
So that's the thing that I didn't really realize how far back it went. I mean, from the beginning, and at the beginning, there was no rest. There were no rest days. There was no flying from Denmark to France to race this thing. You slept on a side of a road, and on you went. And so because it's such a superhuman endurance activity, it's always been kind of like this human physiology lab. And so they've always been way ahead as far as supplements and enhancing sorts of strategies go, to the point that I truly believe a lot of athletes were sold a bill of goods about this just being the next supplement. Because how do you know? The first drug that really started causing problems in doping was strychnine. That was one of the ways they kept him going, because after you did that, then of course you got a real burst of energy. This sport has flirted with amphetamines. There was the EPO, there's the human growth hormone. And who knows if CBD helps you recover, but somebody says, no, that's really a drug because it's used medicinally in some states, all of a sudden you're a doper. But at the same time, they're not above it, and they're going to try it, and they're going to keep trying it because it's science and it evolves, and they think that they found the latest, greatest thing.
It seems like doping, whether it involves Tour de France or even the Olympics, is really just a cat and mouse game, because you're constantly trying to stay ahead of the actual enforcers of the rules to get whatever edge you can without being deemed illegal. And then when eventually one supplement gets banned, you suddenly try 50 other ones until you find another one that sticks. So it seems like it's really just a cat and mouse game.
Absolutely.
And personally, I don't care. If you can
I
ride,
don't care either.
You can ride 2,000 miles in 23 days or whatever the hell it is. Fucking do whatever. That's still an incredibly impressive feat.
Yeah,
for me.
do whatever, but do it with their consent. And not that you're not going to consent.
Right.
If you have a shot to be the best in the world, I truly believe if your trainer says you need it, you're going to say yes. But make sure that they understand how much you don't know and tell them what's in it. because a lot of times they'll just be like, oh, it's your vitamins and on you go. But turns out it was EPO.
It's
So,
also a matter of cycling. People can argue why doping's bad because of the integrity of the actual event or sport. But people have been doping for like 50 years in this sport, so I don't know if that really applies. Does it
well,
apply?
not only that, there's a reason. This isn't natural. No human should do this.
Right.
This is bananas that you can do this.
Yep.
And not only that, then the Vuelta de España starts up in August. So that's the other part of the odds on this is that COVID's still a player. And then you're also going to have the strategy of what did we want to win? And if, say, it's the green jersey and our sprinter is gone, maybe we take a look around and we say our money's going to be better spent in Spain. Let's get everybody healthy and try again because we're out of it. And then all of a sudden you've just got people dropping like flies. But you also have these teams traveling in giant germ cans through the Alps where they're going to see 12 million people from around the world. COVID's going to be there. COVID could change all of this. So it's crazy. And there are stomach bugs that go around. They get bad water. There's all kinds of craziness that make people sick on this tour to start with. And just having this now part of it, who knows?
All right.
By the way, just to clarify, for the actual scoring system of the Tour de France, do they take the scores from each individual stage and just add them up? Is it whoever wins the most stages wins? What's exactly the method of determining who's the overall winner?
It's time for overall winner.
Okay.
And so if you finish first through third, you get a time bonus. I think it's 10, 6, and 4 seconds, respectively. If you're a sprinter, it's about sprint points. There's a limited number of points available. They're out there on the course. You know where they are on the stages. And that's the part of the course where you're going to race hard. And the minute you're done, you're going to lollygag about with people that just try to get you across the finish line because you don't care about anything else. But like with this sweep, you'd have to care about all of it. And you'll see that you'll have these little spider monkey human beings who do the mountains. I mean, they're bananas the way that they can get up and down mountains. And, you know, if they get hurt ahead of time, fall down on the cobbles, some craziness, you know, they can take out half a team. They can just say, never mind, we're out.
By the way, we have some fantastic comments. Too many to mention, but a lot of people admitting to their own doping. I'm just going to say that right there. They do claim it's for medicinal purposes only. And JC Stone wants to know if Scott Jr. is going to put on his devil costume again and go running through the fucking mountains.
I'm going to skip the costume this year. I'm just going to go with the face. I'm just going to go with the face paint. I think it's just more efficient that way.
No lie.
I personally want to see both of you in Speedos running alongside the Peloton.
Who doesn't? Who? I'm surprised Winners and Whiners won't pay for that. I should put in a request. It's not too late, Scott.
I would consider it, but it's a little bit windy in the Alps, so I might save the Speedo.
And by the way, the other thing is, Tracy, everybody loves when you use the word lollygagging. We got out there, Coach, bunch of lollygaggers. What's that from, Reichel? What movie is that from? I know people are quoting.
I remember which movie that's from. I definitely know the line.
You know what they're doing? They're lollygagging. They're lollygaggers. I can't remember, but anyway, hey.
Well,
Shiny,
I was just trying to keep it clean. I was going to try to cuss in French a lot, but I forgot. So, mon Dieu.
There you go. Hey, thanks for doing this. I know it's good to get to see you because I know our anniversary, by the way, is Saturday. And I know from pretty much our anniversary for the next 3 weeks, I don't see you much. So she works and she spends roughly 5 hours a day watching the Tour de France. So I'll miss you. I'll see you at the end of July. It's always a pleasure.
I have a question. Are we at 29 or 30 this
30.
year?
30.
Oh, good. Okay, thanks.
She's a fucking romantic, guys. That's right. Jesus Christ. Hey, thanks for being here. Love you too. We'll see you later. Have a great day. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, babe.
Thanks.
Bye.
Oh, all right. Cut her off.
I know she was saying goodbye.
I know. I cut her off like I do in real life. All right, bud. Well, that was fun. Hope everybody enjoyed that. Picking up some pointers, a lot of history on the tour and everything like that. So, let's get to it, Scott. Let's find out what is going on. We need to get back on track here, my friend. So this is the day to do it. It is time. It is Tuesday. Time to get out your good overalls, strap them on, get that straw hat, Put it on your head at a nice rakish angle. Climb aboard your John Deere, get your keys out, and fire that bad boy up because, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is time to bet the farm. All right, Scott, we talked a little bit about yesterday, about the Dodgers. That's kind of a little too rakish. There we go. About the Dodgers letting us down, no runs at all. Tough to get off the ground. They're not putting anything up there. So we've got a new one fired up for today, and we are going to take a look at it, guys. Our Bet the Farm play for today is going to be the Pirates and the Nationals over 8.5 in what is we're hoping is not going to be much of a pitcher's duel, everybody. The Nationals, this team gives up a shit ton of runs, the most in the league, as a matter of fact, 5.5 runs per game. The Pirates, they're no slouch either, Judge. They give up 5.37 per road game. If that sounds like a lot, it's because it is. That's third most in the league. And Jose Quintana going for Pittsburgh. Good early, not so good lately, as his last 5 starts, 24 innings pitched, 5.63 ERA. And everybody's favorite fade, Patrick Corbin, going for the Nats. Horrible season, been even more horrible his last 5 starts, 7.23 ERA and just 23 2/3 innings pitched over those 5 starts.
At least he's getting paid well.
At least he's getting paid well. You know what, Scott? I don't know who wins this one, but I know it's going to be the fans that are sitting in the outfield bleachers, most likely, because they're going to see some launches. I think this one easily goes over the total of 8.5. Final thoughts?
The way that I see it is the question for a total of 8.5. Can you see each team getting to 4 runs? I can.
Right.
So I think worst case is you're looking at an extra inning situation of 4-4.
Yep.
But Corbin could get shelled. Quintana can get shelled. There's a couple ways to cash this, and both teams' bullpens are not good. So I do expect to see a lot of guys on base, and we'll take our chances.
There you go. Hey, that's going to do it for the farm, guys, and that is going to do it for our show today. As always, thanks for stopping by. Again, special thanks to my wife who stopped by to share a little expertise on the Tour de France. Hope you guys had fun today. As always, good luck on all of your plays. Don't forget to check out all the great offerings here at the Max Wagers Network. But as we tell you every day, if you got to watch just one show, well, just make sure it's us. 3 p.m. We do it every single day. Do our very best to help you guys in that journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.